What's going on, guys? How is it going? It's Tyler here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new video. In today's video, I am going to be just talking. Let's talk. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. And kind of a theme that I've been going with these sit down and talk videos has kind of been more of like milestones for me, or of a sense of maybe along the lines of lessons learned for myself or something like that, of just character building, things that have happened within my life that has developed my character into at least reflection, maybe not it fully making me better, but at least it forces me into a state of reflection. So today's topic that I did want to touch on, which is a struggle for so many people, but I wanted to touch on it today because along just as much as the next guy, I struggled with social anxiety. I struggled with public speaking. I struggled with eye contact. I struggled with I don't know, just the scene of when it's one-on-one. I am very, very prone to just open up. But as soon as I can interact with one person and exchange energy with one person, and then another person be able to chime in, either with a "what are you doing?" or "that's not how you act," or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if that's what you're used to me doing or used to me saying. Me and this person is having an exchange of energies, and you're trying to I don't know. So somewhere along the lines within my life that happened. I guess I was in a group setting and got embarrassed by someone calling me out of some sort. I'm not sure, but that did plant some sort of seed within my roots, and it didn't necessarily cause an issue, but it did cause me to recluse a lot, to refrain a lot. So it didn't necessarily hit me of I don't want to be like this until probably about my sophomore year of high school, creeping into the end of my sophomore year of high school. Now, going into it, of course, nobody wants to read. No one wants to volunteer to read. No one wants to be called on to read. No one wants to read aloud in school. Well, that was a thing for me where I was like, I suck at reading out loud. I don't necessarily want to, but if I'm bad at it, that must mean I need to do it. And if I volunteer to do it first, that means I get to go the rest of the duration of the class without even worrying that I'm going to get called on. Because that's another thing. I had anxieties of getting called up on. So like now it's like, is my name going to be called? Is my name going to be called? And so if I could just volunteer that right at the beginning, I wouldn't even have that over my head. So I actually was able to, harness that and understand that. And so that was one thing I started doing. I did start volunteering in more like public setting, public speaking. So one thing I did start doing within high school was I used it to my advantage within this sense, not necessarily grants and scholarships and forwarding my school, my learning, my education, but I used it for my social advantage. Now, anybody in my class can tell you that they at least heard my name. I wasn't the type of popular person where I had, say a group always around me, or people always, but it was something, I don't know what I did, but something that I did that just made my name circulate. And so I don't know if it was just the way I interacted with people, the way that I was able to go from click to click and just be me within them. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was almost every corner I turned, a teacher, a Stoots, what's up, Stoots? So it was circulating. So I used it as a social advantage, school. So like I said, another thing I started doing was when it came to class projects. That's another thing where you come in and you're sitting in the back, you put your project up front, and you sit in the back, and You just hope that the teacher doesn't point at your project and be like, "Whose is this? Come present it." So you sit in the back and you're waiting and you're dreading being called upon. So that's another thing I started doing. Whenever we had projects, I would come in, I would just go to the teacher and be like, "This is my project here. I'm ready to present as soon as we get started." And so that's what I started doing. Now, I don't know what it was, but along that time, during that time period, I had seen a YouTube video on it was a seminar, and being the age I was, I don't know why I was watching a seminar on YouTube, but it was a seminar on business and public speaking and so on and so forth, how to give a speech, pretty much, how to sell something using your voice. And through that video, the number one thing was hand placement. Get comfortable with your hands, but find this is like the number one thing. They like don't be like folding your hands. Don't be like fidgeting with your hands. This is the easiest way to just gain confidence within your speech. Keep your hands at a reasonable. You can do this when you get flustered, whatever, but you always bring it back. You bring it back because that's what you want to do with yourself, with your minds and your thought. It could get haywire. It could go crazy out here, but you want to bring it back. You want to bring it back. So that's a thing to practice with your hands. So that was a thing, and then they were like, you don't want to wander with your eyes. You want to be intentional with your eyes. So even if you're not looking at people, you want to scan the room intentionally. You want to go left or right because you want the entire room to feel included. And so that was a thing I started integrating within me presenting things. I would get up in the front of the class and be like, this is my project, and I would hold that in my mind and then start scanning the room. I would go left or right. Even if I was looking at the back board in the room, even if I wasn't looking at any student, the people in the front don't know that, and the people in the back don't care, right? They just see a guy up there just looking left and right, whatever, presenting. So it's giving off that everybody is being included. You are connecting with everybody. Now, once you start getting more and more confident, obviously you start scanning the room, and then you start seeing the people that are truly engaging, the people that are really invested in what you're saying. And then what you start doing is you start making direct eye contact with them. Right? When you're scanning the room, you make sure to find them. Boom. You've pointed them out. Boom. And you're subconsciously, telepathically pretty much telling them, I appreciate you, and whatever you're saying, if they may have been pondering it or whatever, boom, you just locked it into them. They just now have understanding. They were listening fully. Boom, whatever you were saying, you just gave them understanding of, because you made it personal with them. And so it's a very powerful thing. And so I was somehow, like I said, I came across that video and I started integrating that. Again, I'm still not the best with eye contact. I could have a conversation with somebody and be perfectly fine. I don't feel the awkward tension when I'm not making eye contact with them. I don't feel it. Awkward silences when people get, say offended and they're just like, and they don't reply to the conversation. Those types of instances, I don't get uncomfortable in those. I don't get uncomfortable. I don't feel anxious or that we need to find something else to talk about. It's just like, I can leave it at that. I could sit there and just start looking around and find a bird and I'll be okay, right? So there's a lot of like social cues and tensions that I used to feel, but at this point in my life, I don't care to feel them, so I don't. Like, they just don't even awaken in me. People are just like, that's an awkward silence. It's like, a lot of the times people beg for silence. But a lot of the times my anxious comes from there's too many sounds. So I'm blessed to have a silence. No silence is going to be awkward for me. So yeah, that's just the way I look at it. But I didn't get over my anxieties by someone else doing it for me. Like I said, I saw and chose at the time that I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to be able to speak to people. I was like, if I'm going to be an online entertainer, I can't shut down if I get recognized in public or if I start doing public events or anything like that. I have to bring that same energy that I have on the internet into real life. And so the way to do it, I had to practice. That's simple as that. And so I started doing it for myself. I started practicing for myself. Like I said, it's just gradual things. I started volunteering to read first, so I was putting my voice out there, and then I was presenting, so I was putting my whole body out there, but then also composure. You have to have composure whenever you're presenting things. You have to have knowledge of the subject, so you're multitasking within your mind and your thoughts and everything. So it's a very good exercise, I would say. Presenting things, just simple things. Even if you have to get your family, if you're younger and you still have a house full of your family and siblings and whatnot, sit them down at the table and say, these are my ambitions. Whether you want to be a businessman, whether you want to be a stand-up comedian, you want to be any type of something that has to do with public speaking, sit them down and practice those things. Go over scanning the room. Go over a healthy time of glancing down at your notes and then engaging with the congregation. Those are things to practice within speech giving and public speaking and social interacting. Now, going into my later years, I've been told that I have a radio voice, and that's a thing that I've curated myself. Now, the biggest inspiration comes from my dad. He's actually been on the radio, but he's also been more of like your social entrepreneur. He's very, very engaging with people, but he brings that deliverance with his voice. Whenever he goes to really start a conversation and really engage into a conversation, he does bring tone. He understands tone, and so that's a big thing with speeches and public speaking and everything like that. So I have integrated that within myself, so it kind of is goofy. I pull up to a drive-through and I'm talking on normal, I'm cutting up, chopping it up, whatever, and I get up to let me go ahead and get a completely different, like insurance salesman. So, but those are things that I integrated with myself. And eventually, it did start chipping away from being able to, like, the fear of walking up and just talking to a dead stranger. It's like, that's a person too. Like, I know how awkward I would be walking up, approaching a human, or having a human approach me out of the blue. So if I'm going to do it to somebody, I'm going to do it in a way that I would want to be done to me, to avoid all the awkwardness and this and that, whatever. And so you start doing that, and you just eventually start building and building and building rapport within yourself. And that starts building that confidence, and then you can, small talk, it doesn't come naturally. Some people don't like it. I hate small talk. But how do you create a healthy small talk to get to the conversation you want to with the people that you seek? And that's something that does come from yourself. It does come from self-reflection, and it does come from a point where you have to recognize and say, this is not who I want to be. This is not who I am. Not who I want to be. This is not who I am. And so you get back to normal. But that's how I got over my little social anxieties. All things come with experience. Confidence is one of them. You have to go in and say, apply for a job. Grab that resume, or grab that application if you're scared to even apply for a job because of the process. It's as simple as walking in and asking for a piece of paper. Hey, you guys, don't even ask if you're hiring. You say, hey, do you mind if I grab a resume? Or I keep saying resume, an application. And if they say you have to apply online, great. Now you just turn around and you go back out and grab your phone and you apply online. You don't allow that outcome of not being what you thought. Usually if I went in there and they said, oh, well, you have to apply online, I'd walk out and be like, okay, I'm in the clear. I don't have to work there. Because I would not go apply online. Because I would have applied on paper because it was the way I already had it thought in my head it was going to go down. But since it didn't go down the way that I thought it was going to, I'm not going to follow it through. And so I would allow my anxiety to work in that way. So those things, when you get over those things, you finally get that paper application, you finally, apply and you get hired, and you're like, wow, that was so easy. And then next go around, maybe you get fired and you are put in a position where you have to find a job quickly. Well, a year and a half ago, it would have taken you about 4 years to finally muster up the strength to get a job, but you just did it. So and you have that confidence, and you turn around and you get a job within a week and a half. And that's how that's done. And so that's really just getting over it, and that's how I did it. So if in any way this helped you guys or was just interesting to hear about, definitely smack that like button. In the comments down below, let me know something that has stuck around in you guys' life that you personally feel like is a hindrance to yourself, that you would, over anything in life, want to get over. And maybe we can chop it up in the comments, and maybe we can figure something out. And you know, there's always exercises that you can do for yourself to strengthen your weaknesses. So yeah, guys, again, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, fantastic weekend coming up. But yeah, hit that bell notification button just so you're notified every single time I do post a video. I do post every single day. So with that being said, guys, this was Tyler, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.